Clinton, also the author of The Common Good. Thank you both. Mia, is the Trump campaign right? Democrats, socialists, same thing? Synonyms?
Well, I think, we have to they have to try and stay away from that if that's what they want to do. Let's remind people what socialism actually is. Socialism is an economic system in which the ways of making a living, whether it's working through a factory, office, are actually owned by society and not by personal or private individuals. So if they're going to move away from socialism, they need to talk about that. And if they're going to move towards free market systems, they have to talk about that also, because they will be painted as socialists or socialism type, implementing socialism type policies if they don't make that very clear.
And Robert, Trump is trying to do that. He's trying to brand them with just that imprimatur. Here he is.
To those who would try to impose socialism on the United States, we again deliver a very simple message. America will never be a socialist country. The Democrat Party has never been more outside of the mainstream. They're becoming the party of socialism. We are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country.
He clearly thinks, Bob, that making it, using the word is scary and going to upset people.
Well, this is not a new Republican tactic, Aaron. In 1935, Republicans accused Franklin D. Roosevelt of being a socialist for proposing Social Security. In 1965, Republicans accused Lyndon Johnson of being a socialist for proposing Medicare. Many Republicans accused Barack Obama of being a socialist for proposing the Affordable Care Act. I mean, this is a label that Republicans have used for at least 80 years. Every time the Democrats propose something that turns out to be remarkably popular and durable.
But I don't see anybody moving away from that. I don't see any of the Democrat candidates moving away from that title. And that's all I'm saying is that, you know, I remember the days of just listening to people saying, look, free markets have taken people out of poverty, more people out of poverty than any other economic system in the history of the world. I don't see anybody talking about that. What they are talking about are socialist policies, which is going to make it a lot easier for them to paint them as socialists.
No, I think that 70% of Americans right now are in favor of Medicare for all by 4 different polls. 2/3 of Americans right now are in favor of free college tuition at public universities. You go down the list. We have over 50% of Americans want a $15 minimum wage. These policies are not, I mean, don't, you know, call them whatever you want to call them. They are fair. People believe in them. I don't think that the labels mean anything anymore.
Though, that they cost money. And when you tell people Medicare for all, they say yes until you go, guess what? You're going to lose your private insurer possibly, and your costs are going to go up. Or free college for all isn't free because someone's got to pay for it via taxes. I mean, you know, look, paying for things complicates the whole issue a little bit.
Well, it does. I think Democrats do need to say that, you know, we are pragmatic and we've got to cut to bloated military spending and we've got to, you know, that $1.9 trillion tax cut for big corporations and the wealthy. We've got to repeal that. We can't afford that. We're going to put that money instead into education and health care.
So can I just,
one second,
you know, in terms of people running away from the label, some of them have. Let me just play Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris. Here they are.
I'm a capitalist. Come on. I believe in markets.
I will tell you, I am not a democratic socialist.
All right, so they're running away from it, Mia. But then you hear things.
It's one thing to say those. It's another thing to actually say how you're going to implement some of these policies that are actually taking away. I mean, how do you pay for the free college? How do you pay? It sounds great, but how do you pay for Medicare for all? How do you sustain all of these things?
I just mentioned several ways of paying for it. And also,
but let's remember,
let me just mention one other thing.
Let me finish, because you have to remember that I am a product of my father, who came to this country with absolutely nothing, and he had 3 jobs in order to make ends meet. The people that actually gave him those jobs are people that are said that they're not paying enough or they're not taxing people enough. And what I'm afraid of is there's going to be a point where you tax somebody so so much that the people that don't end up getting the jobs that they need are the ones that really want to help their families, the ones that need another leg up, the ones that want to go from the lowest common denominator up to the middle class and beyond if they choose. Those are the people that are going to get hurt.
Man, nobody is talking about, Democrats I know are not talking about increasing taxes on the middle class or the poor. They're talking about increasing taxes on the very wealthy, doing exactly the opposite that Donald Trump and the Republicans have done in terms of that $1.9 trillion tax cut. The other point that I want to get in very, very quickly, if I can, is that Medicare for All is actually, it has shown, a number of studies have shown that it's cheaper than our current for-profit private Medicare system that tries to avoid sick people. It's the most expensive per capita in the world, and it actually Americans' living standards and length of time that we are alive, it turns out, is shorter than many other advanced industrial countries. Everybody else has a system that looks like Medicare for All, is a single-payer system. It's crazy we don't.
All right, I'm going to hit pause there. A lot more to talk about. I didn't get to play it, but I'll leave everyone with this thought. Amy Klobuchar running for the Democratic nomination. If I was a magic genie and could give that to everyone and we could afford it, would. That's on free college. She says it's not affordable. Conversation to be continued. Thank you both. And next, did the Trump administration go against the advice of top national security officials with plans to try to give Saudi Arabia nuclear technology? Plus, billionaire businessman Tom Steyer is my guest. He spent millions trying to impeach President Trump, and now he's targeting Democrats he says don't have the courage to do it.
Don't get mad. Get E-Trade, dog.
I was so embarrassed about paying too much for a used car, I went into hiding in this undisclosed location.
Only Carfax.com can give you the most accurate price based on the Carfax report. Stop the shame of overpaying and start your used car search today at Carfax.com.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. They help restore my natural barrier so I can lock in moisture and keep us protected. We've got to have each other's backs and fronts. CeraVe, what your skin craves.
We use Angie's List because we can always find great local pros.
For any type of home project.
I use Angie's List because it's free.
Free to read reviews.
Check their ratings.
They can even match my project to qualified pros.
Go to angieslist.com today.
When cravings hit back. Choose Glucerna with slow-release carbs to help manage blood sugar and start making everyday progress. Glucerna.
To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop. Does this sound dismal? It isn't. It's the most wonderful life on earth.
I put a spell on you, made you a moth to my flame.
Vengeance, Killer Lovers, a new HLN original series, premieres March 10th at 8.
Hey, Big Mark Finch at Curry Toyota in Watertown. We finance your future, not your past, with our Guaranteed Credit Approval Program. With $1,500 down and proof of address and a job, I guarantee I'll get you